What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's review we're going to be taking a look at the VN Toys 1/72 scale metal build AGX04 GP04 Gerbera Tetra Gundam. Before I begin this review, I first of all want to say a massive thank you to Shozy Store for sending this pre-production sample out to me, and there will be links provided down in the description box below where you can pre-order this awesome piece right now, and a link direct to Shozy Store's website. Taking a look first at accessories, this figure comes with an array. To begin with, we'll take a look at one of two thrusters that he comes with. You can see that the detail on these is absolutely splendid. We've got some lovely tampo detailing there. The paint scheme on these is just beautiful. They definitely look incredibly reflective and metallic, although they are plastic. It looks amazing. Look at the reflectiveness of this paint scheme. We've got the fantastic yellow paint apps in there. All of the silver detailing just looks fantastic. And in here we've got some super nice thruster details. This is actually made out of an aluminium, and this is removable if you wish to place some wireless LEDs, of which I will do a review of very shortly over on the channel. But this whole section here simply does just remove, and you could quite simply pop in an LED, pop this back in, and you would have this awesome piece illuminated. In terms of articulation, this flap here can open up, and you can also maneuver this whole piece around on a ball joint, so you are in fact able to get a really nice display option of this. And then if we turn to the underside, we've once again got some fantastic silver detailing in there, with a fully articulated die-cast strut here, which you will peg into the side of the shoulders, which I'll showcase later on. This figure also includes a much larger back assembly, which in my opinion looks phenomenal. Incredible detailing on this, and once again the paintwork is just something that you can truly only appreciate in person. You can see the reflectiveness of it in my camera, and you've got some amazing silver and white details in order to complement them. These whole sections here are articulated on ball joints, and once again are made out of that same aluminium that I discussed earlier on. We've also got different die-cast struts here for you to peg on some of the alternate accessories, all of which I'll showcase further down on this review. We've got some ports here, and then taking a look at it from the front perspective, so much detail in here. All the vents in there, which this is actually a separate piece, so you could indeed pop this out, and I will show you how you can add some of the additional weapons onto this later on. These pieces here are fully articulated on double hinge joints, so you can maneuver these down and have these flare out to the sides to a more dynamic degree, which looks absolutely superb. This truly is a remarkable looking figure. Another accessory that he also comes with is this quadruple segment full of swords. All of these blades here are able to be detached, and you can utilize them on various other parts of the figure. In this configuration, I like to think of this as some kind of mega cannon, as you've got all of the different blaster segments in there, which look amazing. The paintwork once again is truly remarkable on this piece. Just an absolute mesmerizing piece. We also get this incredibly detailed shield, which once again has been coated in that lovely metallic red paint. This time here we've got some white paint applications here for the top of the shield, and as you turn around we've got some phenomenal mechanical components in here, and even the grip that this figure can in fact hold on to when you insert this onto the arm. This can in fact divide into two pieces, so if you want you can split this into two pieces and have a slightly smaller shield and then use this for something else, as there is differently an array of ports and different places that you can peg this onto the figure within his robot mode. Drawing slightly away now from the incredible red paint application, here we have a slightly less vibrant blaster, but nevertheless I still think the details here have been incredibly sculpted. You can see all of the different mechanical components. This has been painted in a more darker, more matte grey colour scheme, and then we've got a lighter grey here for where the top of the gun is. Where the holster section is, this has been painted in a nice white paint, and we've also got some fantastic details on this as well, so super cool. We also get a pair of these smaller shield sections. These can act as almost a cape on the figure when we do insert them into the arms, and you can see here that the detailing on these is just absolutely fantastic. It really does just seem as if though I'm gushing over this figure, but it isn't until you've got this in hand that you can truly appreciate the magnificent detail and paint applications that have been applied to this piece. And then taking a look at one of the final larger accessories, here we've got once again another thruster, it would seem, with some amazing details here of the vents. We've also got that super cool metallic red paint apps with some silver and white in order to break up the sculpt. Just truly a very elegant and beautiful looking piece. Turning now to a more traditional handheld weapon, here we have one of his swords. Now this has been sculpted in a way to make it look as if though he's using it within battle, which looks phenomenal when you have this figure displayed in dynamic poses. All of these are removable, so you can detach these. I'll show you that later on. He does also come with a pair of more neutral looking blades, so this is it in its more neutral configuration, and then this is it here when he's utilizing it within battle, which I just think looks super cool. Another accessory that this figure comes with is a wicked looking display display base. If you collect some of FreeZero's DLX Transformers, you'll know what to expect with this display base here. It's very reminiscent of that. We've got the strut here, which can be angled to your liking, so if you disengage this whole section can ratchet forwards and backwards and you can lock it into place. This section here is fully extendable, and then you just push a button at the top and it will release it. Something which is also quite nice is if you push this out, you can rotate this in whatever way you so desire. Once you have it in a certain pose, you can just push the post back in and it will solidify into place. We've also got some nice details on the bottom, such as Rose Finch APX-03A prototype mecha. Rose Finch here, which has actually been really nicely done in a die-cast material. This is definitely a really heavy display base and truly is a fantastic inclusion for getting this figure into some wicked looking poses. Taking a look at the amazing AGX-04 himself, we'll first of all start off with the astonishingly detailed head sculpt. You can see here that all of the elegant, sophisticated panel lining looks truly remarkable and is once again complemented incredibly nicely with that high grade metallic red paint application. We've also got some super nice silver details, picking out some of the silver in the head. We've also got some really nice paint applications around where the Cyclops iris would be. As we turn to the top of the head, we've got the diagonal, very intimidating crest of this amazing looking Gundam, and then even to the side of the head there is also some super nice looking details. Turning our attention down to the torso region of the figure, this too is also complemented with that same metallic red paint application. However, this time has been given a slightly more vibrant colour scheme with a really nice mixture of gunmetal silver and yellow paint apps to bring out some of the sharper details of the sculpt. Working our way down to the lower torso, there is some really nice sculpt work to the tubes, which are made out of a more pliable plastic. And then as we turn our attention down to the skirt and hip armor, this too also looks incredibly elegant. Looking at the figure's arms, these two have also been given that same level of mechanical detailing with a super nice gunmetal silver for the top where the shoulders would be, and once again that metallic red that really helps to set this figure apart from some of your mandatory figures on the shelf. As we turn our attention down to the legs, these two have also been given a really nice metallic red paint app with more of a silver highlight than yellow. And as we turn our attention down to the shins and the knees, these two have also got some fantastic detailing with really nice panel lining. Turning our attention to the back of the figure, this is where things get even more interesting. We've got one huge thruster situated in the back of the figure, which once again, similarly to some of the accessories I previously took a look at, can in fact house some wireless LEDs just to give this figure even more of a dynamic presence. And as we turn our attention down to the back of the legs, these two have been detailed just as well as the front with that metallic red paint application, really setting this apart from other figures, and the die cast hinges in the back of the knees definitely standing in for some fantastic authentic mechanical detail. Turning to the articulation on this remarkable piece, believe it or not, this is just as mind-blowing as the details. The head is on a double ball joint, so is able to look up to a great degree as well as down. It can also rotate side to side, and the neck hinge also can move to accommodate some of your more dynamic poses. It is also able to tilt left to right, which is super cool, and can also look up and down to a considerable degree. Turning our attention now down to the articulation of the arms, this whole section here is made out of a die-cast structure, so it's incredibly durable to any poses and positions that you put the arm in. We do get a rotation joint out to the sides, allowing for a great degree of motion. This of course means it can articulate down. We also have a butterfly joint here, allowing the arm to move forwards and backwards. They can also hinge forwards and backwards here. There is a rotation at the bicep, as well as a die-cast structure here, which allows for a double jointed range of motion. However, if you actually extend the lower forearm section, we do get a much greater range of motion, allowing for well over 90-degree bend there, which looks absolutely superb. And believe me, it really does help for our posing. We also have a full 360 rotation here at the hand, and the hand can also hinge forwards and backwards. All of the fingers are individually articulated. Just taking the hand off for a closer look, you can see that we have all of the different hinges here. At least 3 different hinge joints for all of the individual fingers, which is just absolutely fantastic. And the same here goes for the thumb. For the main torso, if you push your finger down on this part, this whole section here will hinge out on all of these different pistons to reveal a really nice detailed pilot. Articulation for the waist is as follows. We do get a full 360-degree rotation, which is once again done in a way so that it rests solely on a die-cast structure. This allows for us to hinge the waist left to right and also ratchet the waist all the way forwards, utilizing an ab crunch, which really does thrust the whole upper body forwards and unveils even more mechanical detailing as well as hydraulics. Turning now to the legs, these pieces here can hinge out to the sides and they're also on ball joints, so can move left to right. So literally can move out of the way of any of your posing options. The legs can kick forwards all the way that far, which is fantastic, and kick backwards all the way that far as well. They even kick backwards further than they kick forwards. He has a hinge joint here allowing for the split. I wouldn't go too far in case you do in fact chip the paint. This whole thigh section here can rotate, and he has a fantastic degree of motion here for the knee section. You simply just hinge all of this back and you get a double range of motion, and the knee actually moves along with the movement of the rest of the leg. So that is some really nice engineering there, and this whole section once again is die cast, so I do not worry about any of the joints on this figure whatsoever. Turning to the feet now, all of these flaps here can hinge out to the sides to allow for a greater range of motion. The ankle rocker joint is as follows. It can hinge left to right to a fantastic degree, as well as swivel. We also have a hinge joint here for the toe, allowing this to hinge upwards with the heel spur fixed firmly into place. If we turn around to the back of the figure now, we get even more articulation, which to me was a surprise. All of these different flaps here can hinge upwards, so you can really get this figure looking as if though he's taking flight. And these thrusters here are on ball joints, so once again can rotate all the way around. Showing you now some of the different options of display with this figure. If we take one of these larger thrusters and insert this die cast peg into a hole on the top of the shoulder, you can in fact have thrusters on both sides of the figure's shoulders, which look absolutely remarkable. And of course repeat the same process here for the opposite side. So that is just one display option that you can do with these thrusters at the top. If we turn to the back of the figure, we can in fact remove this piece here. You just very gently want to wiggle this out. And once that whole section has wiggled out, we can then take one of these pieces and simply just port it in, and you can have almost this cape look for the back of the figure. Removing this section here at the top exposes one huge port, which we can then take in this larger thruster section, which has once again got this massive tab, which if you align everything appropriately, just moving these pins out of the way so that they don't bash into any of the other armor, you can then just hook this over the top and snap that firmly into place, which for me creates this amazing look. And we can even go even further with this back piece and add even more different accessories. Showing you just exactly what I mean, if you pull this piece off here, you will indeed expose a peg that we can then take this section here, which houses all of these swords, which in this configuration I like to think of this as one massive thruster or a blaster. And you can see that this has a port that you just want to align it up with this section, snap that into place, and we have this absolutely gargantuan, massive looking rocket sticking out the back. This looks remarkable, and due to the die cast pieces in the figure, he has no problems balancing whatsoever. Included with this figure are various different attachments for you to customize and come up with your own different ideas for displaying. So these sections here, by removing these swords, you can take these in and simply just take this and shoot this in. And then we can now attach this as a sword to the arm, or in fact attach it onto the back. So utilizing all of those various different attachments, you can see that all the blades can plug onto this one huge massive thruster at the back, which can create for just a completely different display option than what we had displayed earlier on. You can also take some of the other attachments and actually utilize them as a sword. So just showcasing you this, you just want to remove this section here. They are held on incredibly securely, so just wiggle this section out. Take one of the blades with the additional attachment on and just peg that into place. And here you are in fact able to see this awesome piece wielding a sword. There is just so much versatility with this figure. A very similar method is applied when we utilize the shield on the arm. So this post here will port into the arm and the hand will wrap around this handle section. So I recommend just taking this in, bending this down, and then snapping that securely into place, and then you can wrap all the fingers around. And there is this awesome piece wielding this wicked looking shield. Both the swords and the gun can be inserted into the hand via this post and slot on the handle section. So you just simply want to align those up and they will snap into incredibly securely. And in order to make the motion look authentic, you just simply want to wrap the incredibly articulated fingers around, and there you have the figure wielding both the sword and the gun. Rounding things off, pushing a small post in the head will activate an LED function. The first time you push it, the eyes will illuminate in a really piercing red colour, and then the second time you push it, they will in fact light up a different colour, that being green, which I actually prefer as it contrasts so nicely with the rest of the paint apps. And then pushing it a third time will switch the LED function completely off. So that was my review on the Vientiane 1/72 scale metal build AGX04. Once again, I want to say a massive thank you to the team over at ShowZ Store for sending this pre-production sample out for me to review. And if you haven't guessed by this review already, I think that this piece is absolutely remarkable. The paint job on this figure itself is is just truly something to behold. The metallic paint apps all look incredibly realistic and very authentic. However, the realism is further heightened when we take into account how much diecast this figure includes. This is an incredibly weighty piece, and all of the joints are incredibly structurally robust. I do not have an issue with any of the joints feeling as if though they're going to break. This figure can hold its own weight incredibly well, and that is evidented by how much you can pack onto the figure's back, and it literally not even toppling over. The articulation on this figure is superb. I think that he comes with so many accessories. If anything, this figure comes with too many accessories, which isn't a complaint in my eyes at all. If you are in the market for picking this figure up, then I definitely recommend that you should check the links down in the description box below, where you'll be taken to Showz's store, where you can pre-order this figure right now, as well as browse through Showz's store's site. I really hope that you enjoyed this review, and until my next review, I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.